So good morning for me, good afternoon for you guys. So good to have you here. So we have.
Thank you for the invitation. We are so happy.
You're so welcome. We're very honored to have you guys here. So this is Ola and Łukasz. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're from Poland and they're photographers, documentary family photographers. And I also have Irmina with us. She's going to be joining us today. So good to have you all here today with us. So, Ola, before anything, Ola and Łukasz, I'd like you guys to introduce yourselves. Just tell us a little about yourselves. Just how long you've been photographing and stuff like that.
Okay, we've been photographing for a couple of years now. Łukasz is photographing a lot longer than me. How long have you been photographing?
I can't
remember.
No longer remember. For me, it's since we've met, so it's about 10 years. And when we first stumbled on the idea of documentary family photography almost exactly 4 years ago. Before that time, we were doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, mostly weddings and studio work, and at the moment we
start the first family session we made
4 years ago.
4 years ago,
and we've fallen in love with this photography almost instantly.
We think we discover America because we don't know that anyone else make that kind of photos.
Yes, at first we were sure that no one else is doing this.
And then we find out that a lot of people do it.
Oh my gosh, exactly like me.
And in Poland, we were sure that everyone else in Poland would, fall in love with this just like we did. And
here we now.
And it wasn't the case at all. So yes, after these 4 years, we have made a lot of mistakes, mostly mistakes, but we've learned a lot from them. And
we met Irmina.
Yes, and here we are now. We are still doing it. So I think it's working out.
It's when you say that you thought people would love the work and book you guys, because when I started doing it, I was so in love with it that I thought people would just line up at my door. I literally thought that. Just line up. It'd be like thousands of people wanting to hire me.
Yeah.
Yes, it was so awesome.
Exactly the same.
But it's not bakery, yeah? It's not bakery, guys.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. And I think we were unaware of all of the problems we could face with this kind of photography, starting with very specific mentality in Poland, which was really not very open character to
people in Poland don't like showing
their intimate.
Very open. They're not very open.
Yeah.
So we start educating people about this kind of photography.
How did you do that?
Yes. So yes, the education part was the first step for us, I think, because almost exactly with with our sessions, with launching our documentary sessions, we started a group for parents
and started teaching them making photos of the children's.
We've.
Co chcesz powiedzieć?
It was. The idea was not to create a group for photographers, because there were a lot of groups for photographers already in Poland, but to show parents that there is another kind of photography there, not only the kind where you go to a photographer who has a set of props in the studio, and you have to dress up and look and do makeup and look nice.
So we fight with this imagine of photographer and sessions for children, and with this Instagram look and style of photo.
So was that a Facebook group? A Facebook group that started?
Yes. And it's still running now, and
we're making lives once a week if we have. Enough.
And how successful was it? Did you guys get to book clients? How was it?
From
the group, I mean.
From the group. Not really, because some of the group members booked a session, but it was really the idea of creating cheerleaders for our business, for the photography, for the documentary family photography, and it worked very well, because our members of our group started to talk about it with their friends, and
invited their friends to the group,
and
it's starting spreading a little the style of photography.
Yeah, and now sometimes we can see on other photography groups that, for example, our group's members join the conversations and fight for the real life photos.
Oh, that's good.
It's so cool, because we know that we've really changed something in the perception of photography.
Yes, because real life photos, when you showing this kind of photos on another Polish groups, where you have this vision about photography that it must be photoshopped and the ideal kind, and when you're showing your work and this kind of photos, a lot of people don't understand that, and
they have
starting.
They have a problem with that. That
exactly.
I think they need pictures that are somehow filtered and idealized. And obviously, not everyone is ready for this kind of photography, but I think a lot have changed since 4 years ago, and we have other things now that help us with the idea of documentary family photography. For example, we have the idea of free childhood. Homeschooling is is like flourishing now in Poland. So this is all really connected, and parents' awareness also grows. And I think we've already come to the conclusion that our clients are very aware parents. For example, they read about education, they read about raising happy children, and they also appreciate photography that pays attention to their work as parents, and this is not visible in other kinds of photography that creates a little bit of I don't know, a dreamy picture. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you guys still shoot weddings, or are you just doing family photography?
Not anymore. More for our friends, and if someone makes
really wants
to shoot the wedding, and
but it's not a lot.
It's occasionally.
Right. Yeah. So with all this going on, the isolation, the COVID-19 and everything, so parents and children I think they have never been so close together. So sharing the same space and having to really connect and live together and see each other. So do you think this whole isolation thing is going to change documentary photography? Do you think it's going to be better viewed or better accepted, or do you think it's going to have any?
I think it's already changed. Yes.
At first, I was very pessimist about all these things, and I thought, oh my God, no one would buy or book a session after all this. But I think people really turned to each other during isolation, and just recently we were asked about what you asked and about our opinion by a big portal for parents in Poland. And we shared our opinion with other photographers who
documentary life, family lives.
Yeah, so
it's starting to be really popular, I think.
Yeah, so if we are asked for our opinion, I think that we are really starting to count as our style of photography now in Poland.
During isolation, what did you guys do? Did you guys just photograph your experience? You have two kids, right?
Yeah, we have two daughters, Tosia and Helena. Tosia, they're 4.5 and 2.5, and we photographed a lot during isolation.
We're starting photography with analog.
Yeah,
we're starting project and photographing people
in our neighborhood.
Yes. Oh, did you do that?
Yes. Oh. We've made a couple of isolation portraits, but
like those front porch, the people are doing at the front porch.
No, because we don't really have front porches.
We just need to have distance 2 meters.
Yeah, we just had to stay in 2 meter distance and photograph them, but we did it in completely different style than our
normal photos. So we use flash, and it's quite wild.
But we were very anxious to try another new things, and we
start using flash in our home photos.
Yes. And we've also read a lot of books, and it was very interesting and inspirational. Yeah.
Have you shared those photos yet?
No.
No,
the project. No.
Yeah.
we are still completing it.
Okay. All right. So, Irmina, do you want to ask anything? Are there any questions, Caro?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Caro.
Not yet? Okay.
I wanted to know, how are you doing with the thing that I faced in Poland with families? Like, Brazil, it's totally different, and in Latin countries like Spain here. How do you make people let you publish their on Instagram or Facebook, or that the part of marketing that I feel in Poland, it's really difficult, because people generally don't show their kids' face,
Yes, and this is so hard.
Nudity and hard in Instagram too.
Nudity is other thing, but kids' face are. Yes, this is very tough one for us because we don't really get to publish a lot of our photo sessions, and we don't really try to convince them a lot. We just ask, and we simply say that this is very important for us to showcase our work, and this is our way to get new clients. And if they agree, we publish. Sometimes we try to a little bit negotiate with them. For example, we say that okay, so we want publish show the faces and your interiors or something like that, and they agree. But we've already had the situation where they agreed, and then
when they saw the photos
us,
on Instagram, they want them removed.
And they wanted them removed. So this is
quite hard.
This is really quite hard. So we have to try a lot of measures to reach our clients. Not only by our page or blog, but
we
by
find out that Instagram and Facebook is not enough.
Yes. And
so what do you guys do besides Instagram and Facebook?
Yes, we've discovered
talking with you.
Yes, talking with you. So we've
but I don't know how much Polish.
But I think that first of all, we discovered that we have to be very close to our clients, almost physically. So, for example, we have to.
If you want great photos, you need to be. So
yes, but I
need to convince them, and
yes, I'm talking. I'm talking about.
Okay.
So we know that we have to go to the same places where they go. We have to, for example, clubs for children or other or in general other places where they can be. In general, we talk to people. If we have a chance to talk about photography, then we just talk about what we do. And sometimes people are very, very they're like, wow, but there is
people do this.
Yes, people do this.
Never knew it existed. Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm living in a bubble where everyone. Where everyone knows about documentary family photography, but there are still a lot of people who really doesn't know what this is all about, and this is very important to talk about our work at every step. And for example, we also organize sometimes we also organize workshops for parents.
All of
but photography workshops. What do you?
Yeah, photography workshops. We find a space where parents go with children or themselves, and we just talk about how to easily.
Not something that's what we do on our Facebook group.
Yes. How to easily improve
your family photos.
Family photos.
Yeah. With your phone or something like that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know, how do you explain to someone who you meet in some club or elsewhere, I don't know, and you present yourself, or you are talking about and what's your professional? How do you respond on this question? How do you reply? How do you explain what's the documentary family photography? Do you use these words? Do you use other words? How is it?
In Polish, it's quite problem with naming this kind of photo, because documentary is something like you're documenting to, I don't know, police work or something like that.
Yes, in fact, the nomenclature is very it's problematic in Poland, because documentary also is for people is like, I don't know, documenting a war, or
Yes.
or documenting
crime scene or something like this.
Yeah. And so sometimes we use reportage or something, or
like real life
pictures,
unposted photos,
or simply
like
we just show our photos. Sometimes we just show them with other kinds of photography, and by comparison we show how do we do it. And
we try organized conference
now
for
we are
family photographers in Poland, and it must be moved because of this situation.
Yes, so I was going to ask, but maybe this is for another question, that the third thing that aside from education and meeting our clients in person, is when we first met Irmina, she told us during our mentoring sessions, she told us that you will never be able to do this by yourself.
Yes.
you have to have another people to make something like more organized, and to
you
make
need to do fashion.
Yeah,
create a fashion
for this kind of photography, create a market for this kind of photography. And so we've imagined this conference for photographers, which is going to have place on October. Yes, and Irina is our guest.
Guest of honor.
Guest of honor, of course.
That's what's happening in Brazil. What's your group is? Documentary photographers of Brazil. It's exactly the idea. That we need to make kind of community and try to look one to each other as a group, and not as a, I don't know how, one who will keep my clients. So I think that's the.
Oh, the ones that you wrote me. Okay, so we have questions here, Ola. What influences your photography? Like, do paintings influence your photography? Do other things beyond, like photographers, influence your photography?
I think the first thing, of course, that influences us are our children. We would never be interested in family photography if it weren't for them. I think we would still shoot drunk uncles on weddings. But I think that also, at least for me, it has been always art that influences me. I when I was in high school, at first I was going to go to art high school, and then I was going to study art history. It didn't work well as I expected, but the love for art was always in me, and I think even if I wasn't very good at first in lighting and technical stuff with photography. Łukasz laughs because I was a terrible student. I was a terrible student, really.
She put ketchup on my camera, and
Oh my
it's
God.
stick
Yeah.
right now.
And even if I really wasn't good at the technical stuff, I was very. I think I was very. I had good eye, and I saw light.
Good at seeing.
Yes, I was good at seeing and perceiving light and perceiving composition, and I think
That's
now, how about besides other photographers, what do you think influences besides photographers' work and your children, like paintings? There was we have questions about paintings. Do paintings influence your work?
Paintings, like
like painters, like
obrazy. I think that it's not like there are particular paintings, but art in general, like light in Baroque paintings.
Renaissance paintings from Netherlands.
Renaissance, Baroque, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. When I start making photos, I do a lot of work using flashes in studio, and I try sometimes recreate some paintings or something like that, and
that's good.
It was really nice.
But
okay, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry.
But now we are mostly we are trying to look at art in general. So if we can, we go to a museum, to an exhibition. We look at a lot of photography.
Yes.
Different kinds of photography.
Yes, not documentary,
but we try to not to look a lot.
Trent Park works.
For example, Alex Toth. Now we are not. We are trying not to look a lot at other documentary family photographers, because sometimes we think that sometimes maybe we are too influenced.
It's time to stop recreating and doing stuff, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I know.
Between recreating and inspiring.
Something
that you are able to make in the same way.
But your twist, with your touch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, Łukasz, you're talking about flash. Have you tried flash photography with documentary work? Have you done it within your session?
We try at the beginning, but we find out that it's too much invasive. And,
with small
children start to be scared or something like that, and they looking at the
they're just looking at it.
Yes.
When we
start so we put this
aside. Yes. And when we with our families, we try to create a workflow where when they don't really remember about the camera.
Yes, exactly. They remember meeting us, talking with us, but not camera.
So the flash would interfere, and but we try a lot in we experiment with our children.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, and they find it fun. So we think it's
yes.
It's
all right. Do you follow any Brazilian work? Any Brazilian photographers, Brazilian documentary family photographers work?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
I tend to see Irmina as Brazilian, so I was just gonna say besides Irmina.
I don't know if Irmina counts.
Yeah, I see her.
Sandra counts. Okay.
But we love Manu's work. Manu Rigoni. we think?
It's quite a lot photographers, but we can spell the names.
I know.
But we think that we have a lot of very talented photographers, and that we as photographers have a lot to learn from you, from your work and from your business ways to how to manage with clients and
we are jealous about that you are so open.
Yeah. Yes.
And could you explain what's the process with just typical Polish clients when someone search for you, ask about the session? What's the workflow with someone like that? How do you build it and how it?
Oh no! Now you asked. I remembered about one more way to reach our clients. I took part in a podcast when one of our clients found us, and she wrote an email that she's very she loved our work, and she would love to do a session with us. And in that cases, we always try to
meet
in live or to talk by Skype or by phone, because it is so.
Email is not working.
Yes, email is just not working. Is maybe if someone is very they are already decided that they want to do this, but it is so
they need to meet us.
They need to meet us.
If they're just getting to know, okay, yeah. So we have to meet in person.
Yes. And very, I think that very often it's like we've met our clients earlier, and they, for example, as a friend or as an acquaintance, and they didn't work. But they didn't think about a session at the time. But after knowing us for some time, they want to work with us, and this is very cool. And I think that connection with people in general is crucial, and to talk about.
So are you saying that for this kind of photography, getting to know the photographer is essential? Like getting to know how the photographer.
When we go to photograph on the session, we don't do photos right when we go to their homes. We're talking with them, and it's really comfort and really nice when we can be with them half a day before the shooting, and when we can talk and meet each other more, and the childs look at us and knowing us, and they can feel good around us.
So I think at least in Poland it's essential to know us. So we are trying very hard to meet our clients and to show us on social media.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. If you post personal stuff, if it helps, like posting personal stuff about you, about your life.
I think yes, because we can always we can always do it with a text or with our thoughts on parenthood or life. And I think that a lot of people want to work with us because they feel the same way as we do in different Yes.
Part of identification, you want to participate in a group. You want to feel that no one will judge you. Yes, because when you meet someone in your home, it's not perfect.
Of course.
You're vulnerable. I don't know how to say in English. So you need to know that someone thinks like you. and he will not judge you. And I think it's I believe that it's basic case. Yeah,
That's basic. But also, I think that social media in Poland are not the great part of our how to say marketing, because for example, when we look back at our clients that in fact booked a session, documentary session. I think that more of half of them don't have an Instagram account, for example, or even a Facebook account, or even if they do, they don't really look at it, And so we obviously run our accounts, but we always remember to be in touch and to be more in the real world.
But it's the same in Brazil. I don't know what you think. What do you think, guys? But I think that in Brazil it's the same. Where there is a expression, I don't know how to translate it to English. It's like from mouth to mouth.
Word of mouth. Word of mouth.
Yes, it's much more easier to reach some client because a friend of him just already did something with you, and I think that we have, it's like illusory, like a dreamy idea that we are working on online and everything's happening on social media. I think the real presence, it's still like fundamental.
But the thing with word of mouth is it takes longer. It just takes longer.
Yeah, it takes longer, but it's absolutely the best way to convince someone to book a session, because even if we convince someone to that this is so great and they should book, this is us, that this is our business, and we obviously want to make money from this. But if someone else is happy with their pictures, with their photos, and say about us to another person, it's much more like trustworthy. Is the word of mouth is the best. And
it takes longer, but I think it's more successful too.
Yes, yes.
And there are clients who stay for forever.
And from our social media and from our Facebook group and our Instagram, we have more of questions about learning, about us teaching and being a mentor. So this is more the part of our business when we teach, and that's why we a bit switched in our social media to talk about us teaching than about us shooting, because we know that we haven't got a lot of clients on our social media for for sessions.
So going back, just have some questions here. You guys have long winters, don't you? Like long, dark winters.
Yes.
Yes.
This is a bummer.
So like
that's why they are thinking about buying a motorhome and follow with us. So we have a plan.
So during your dark, long winters, how do you shoot in sessions, like in-home sessions? What are the challenges with you face with light being so dark and so so cloudy? And
to be honest, in Poland,
we don't shoot a lot.
We don't shoot a lot at winter. Maybe the October and
November
is the.
It's okay.
It's okay,
but then
December
and January
yes, is quite dead.
Yeah, so this is just like that period for us, and we
a lot of
tried.
photographers, I think.
Yes,
Yeah, I was going to ask that, just for you or for photographers in general?
Yeah, so we just spend this time on catching up on like work,
learning.
learning, and
we have a lot of stuff that we need to finally do. That is
yes. And
why do you think that is? Why do you think not many photographers have in-home sessions during winters?
Could you repeat?
During the winters, like you have those, everybody's inside, so it'd be a good time for in-home sessions. So, but why do you think people don't hire photographers? Not as often as
you need to live it to know, that that's everyone is like depressed. It's not like about the life, not about the photography, it's about the life for life. You are so bad. Everyone is like in a dress this pajama or something. Just surviving. It's not about real life or whatever. People are really bad.
The light is really bad, and to make good photos at winter in Poland is quite hard. Maybe a few days when you have nice light, but it's not common.
So different from Brazil, right, Irmina?
Yeah,
very different. Yeah. Wow.
It's so up to a mood during a particular season, like in spring or summer. We have a lot of work on spring and on autumn. On summer, not so much, because now the heat is very overwhelming. And I remember when Manu visited Kraków, she was so like, whoa, do you have such a warm and hot summer? and we say yes. And sometimes people don't want to shoot. Don't want to meet on hot days, and spring and autumn is really it's very busy for us, because the weather is just right. The weather is just right.
Comfortable. Yeah, it's comfortable. Good. So people want to see some of your work from isolation. I don't know if you can share your project, some of your project. You're going on project.
Yeah.
I don't think you can. If you can share some of the pictures. Can you? But if you could share some of your pictures of your children in isolation. In isolation.
Yeah, and I think that it would be nice to you talk a little bit more about work with them.
Yeah.
With girls.
But sorry, but during isolation, or what we did during
people want to see some photos of you from the isolation time. And I think that it might be a purpose to start talking a little bit more about your work with your daughters.
And your daughters.
Okay. But do you want us to share our screen?
Yeah.
Oh,
we could, yeah.
We have
okay.
Really,
messed up messed up computer. So sorry. Chyba tak.
Coś, nie wiem, z kliszą też?
No, pokaż kliszę.
Chyba, że to włączymy w mechaniku.
No to włączmy. A to może będzie... Dobra,
okay,
no to
dobra, to zostawmy już.
Okay.
Need to...
Okay, sorry for...
No, it's okay.
Maybe you could explain a little bit, because I think that I'm in Spain, Giovanna is in Brazil, you are in Poland, and the isolation term. It's like a general term, but it's in the practice it's working in a different way. So what's how long could you go out? How in which time? Some details, like to explain the situation.
Okay, I think we shared or something like that.
Not yet.
Wait. Okay.
Okay, so for some time we in fact we couldn't.
Wait.
Now I think it's gonna work.
You see some.
Can you see something? Or
yeah, we see your logo.
It's working.
Okay. So for some time we couldn't go out almost at all. Only
week
Łukasz,
or something like
2 weeks.
I
think 2 weeks were like we couldn't go out at all. Only Łukasz went for shopping, and we stayed with the girls, and we don't have like a green area around our house, because it's like an old townhouse in the middle of Kraków, and we only have a piece of yard.
We will see
with
on
like,
these photos, and girls have only
a staircase and yes, a piece of.
Sorry. Okay. Wait.
We have some troubles with switching between photos.
Maybe I put this in photo.
So while you do that, Ola, do you, when you shoot your kids, your daughters, is it mainly documentary, or do you pose them too? Do you have like conceptual work with them?
When we shoot our kids, because this is not the case with our clients, where we only shoot what happens, with our kids we follow like
with this
yes.
This size, it's okay?
Yeah, for me it is, yeah.
Okay.
So with our kids, we follow something that Larry Sultan once said, that truth can be staged. So personally, I love this sentence, because recently we dig a lot about into the topic of truth in photography, and how in general in the term of documentary photography, and how photography is really not true. It really depends on the photographer, how we present what's on the picture. Yes.
Photos outside is not posed, but
that's why sometimes we post our children, but this is it's done very.
They can't be
posed. They can't be posed, but we suggest something for them, and sometimes they follow and sometimes they don't. And
Tosha is great, because when we saw good light, we grabbed our camera and she said, "Oh, this is good light. I can stand there."
My oldest is just like that too. He can see the light. He sees the light. It's like, Mom, look at this light, such a beautiful light. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, exactly.
During the quarantine, we make a lot of photos with analog camera, our Olympus, and we find this is a really great camera. And This is from time before that, the big isolation. Or after?
I don't know. I don't remember. But this is from yes, I think this is these pictures that are taken right after they like
band going out.
yes, right after lowering the restrictions. So
but we can go to
this is our backyard or front yard.
and they
Well, it's not showing. Are you seeing that? I'm not seeing anything. I don't see any pictures. Are you guys sharing already?
yes.
Yes.
I don't see it.
I can see. I can follow.
You can? I can't. Why not? Let me see.
Maybe I can stop sharing and start again. I don't know.
We
Hello,
have
do you see?
button stop sharing. So
Does anyone see Carol?
I
As pessoas
stop.
estão vendo?
Okay.
Just, yeah, I don't see it.
I start
Sharing.
Yes. You stop
yes,
sharing.
right
now,
now,
right now
and
we stopped,
with,
and now we are
maybe
Redoing,
right
okay.
now. It's okay.
Giovanna, can you see it now?
It's yeah, now I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. You're online again.
Oh my gosh, it's hot. So this is your oldest? Or you?
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
our
of
oldest,
course, yeah.
and this is our yard. It's very like
We like this yard. It's quite.
it's quite creepy, but it's very it's like good for pictures.
Corona in Polish mean crown.
Oh, good.
The word is similar. This is not.
This is our older photo. Okay, this is.
Oh, I love this. Yeah.
This is. No, this is.
Oh, this is Tosia
Oh.
on video chat with her friends from preschool.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
Thanks.
Gorgeous.
Yes, she get this dress from
our client.
but this animation. What this is?
From Frozen.
Frozen.
Yes,
Yes.
they love to dress up, and
Yes. And she wearing this all the time. And this is
this
on the backyard is not really.
we have like a lot of concrete on our yard. So, yeah,
So that's bound to happen. That's bound to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Younger, but I stop sharing or something like that, or no, because I don't know.
Now we can see some image.
Okay, right now you see big image.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Hola with Tosia.
I really love this camera. It's got spot
Beautiful.
matter, and this is.
But that's an analog.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's an
A lot of these photos is from analog.
But we also
So
have.
you can see crappy scanning.
We also have a medium format, but it annoys us a lot.
Yes.
Do you both carry cameras all the time, or?
No, we have only one
we
camera.
carry one camera. Yes.
We
We work with Sony A7R3 and with 35 millimeter, and this is our only one digital camera. And we have this analog too.
Yeah, these are our walls, beautiful walls, because
yes,
our daughters are artists, and
so great that you allow them to do that.
My living room is the same.
Yes.
Yes,
Exactly. You can see windows right now.
after isolation, all of our walls are like this.
Ola, Łukasz, she's so gorgeous. She's beautiful. Oh my God.
Beautiful life.
They both.
Look at those colors. Oh my gosh.
This is Fuji Extra, I think. This
The material.
the material.
And where are you developing them?
From local lab.
In a local lab.
But we think about scanning.
Lab doesn't exist. Local lab. You are speaking like in 80s. It's a local lab. No. What are the local labs? Yeah. Someone in Krakow, yeah?
Yeah, someone in Krakow. Yes, exactly. Maybe the last big one, I think, in Krakow. One.
And they are scanning for you too.
Yeah.
Yes, but this crap is scanning, so we need to find out how to scan better.
That's lovely.
So we have a lot really nice light on there, and I really love the texture of all this bricks and
Walls and bricks and. You know.
And I wanted to ask you, maybe because I always receive this question about the autory. You know that sometimes I see that when you submit your photos for some awards, you sign like Ola or Łukasz.
yes.
And when you are doing your commercial work, it's always like pixel hearts. How do you manage it? What do you think about this? You know, to sign, to not sign, to sign both, to sign one of you. And do you know exactly which one of you did?
Sometimes we know.
Sometimes,
and sometimes we argue.
Yes, sometimes we don't know who took the photo, because I think we took quite similar photos, but for awards it's necessary to sign. So we only sign for the awards, and
you can see our second wall.
Lovely.
But we don't really argue anymore
that's lovely.
about who took which picture, because we think that it's pointless.
Because we make pretty much really similar photos, so I think it's
and also we think that at least I think that we are
this is from digital.
Yes, this is digital. That we really like empower each other. For example, when one of us has a weaker period, for example, it's not really inspired and can't take a good photo. The other is, pulling up, and I think we are very doing a teamwork always. And
we signed this.
Sometimes it's like, oh my God, let's take a picture, a photo of me with the girls right now, and it's me who imagine the photo, and Łukasz is taking it. So it's really
teamwork. Teamwork.
Yeah.
And apart photography, but in the business, how do you separate the functions? Does it exist any separation and a device, or you are doing all these things together? How does it work?
Yes, together. I'm making post-process photos.
Yes, Łukasz is, yes.
But it's so simple that I process one photo by, I don't know, 30 seconds. So
yes, Łukasz is just
not
very
much really work.
very fast in post-processing, and we just gave
we have almost banned for this photo.
Yes, we decided
and
that
for this too. So
yeah, this photo was banned from Instagram. Yeah, and
so since you mentioned post-production, just a second. Just since you mentioned post-production, there's a question here wanting to know how your post-production goes. Do you use any preset or?
No, we
just adjust
contrast and clarity on the photo, and sometimes we used mask to bring some shadows on lights, but just
and that's all.
Very basic editing.
We are really lazy about that, so we like analog because you can't do anything on that.
And talking about analog, what kind of film do you use for your camera?
We like Fuji Extra, I think. We back. We really love Fuji Extra. It's cheap and really vivid.
Yeah, and the cheap part is very important because Łukasz had a heavy finger on the on the shooter on the so
a roll per day.
Yes, it's a roll per day. So when I look at him and he's like running wild with this analog,
but only if it's really good light. No.
So, yeah, it got to be cheap, but Fuji Extra is just the best for us for now.
And that's just for your work, for your for documenting your family, right? Like for personal work.
Yes, for documenting our family, but we are thinking about introducing another option for our clients.
Start making by analog, but
yes.
It can be really stressing.
Yes, but it can't be obviously a very long session. So we still we are processing the idea and how to introduce it to our clients.
Because your documentary session is a 1 day long session, yeah?
Yes,
we make 1 hour session, but we don't show these photos.
We have right now. Right now we have 3 options. It's 1 hour is mostly for families with one little child.
But this is some kind of lifestyle photos.
It's really yes.
And then in their house,
yes.
outside.
Sometimes it's outside. Sometimes it's
1 hour photos is the only one session when we told to them that maybe you can do something with your children.
Yes, we prepare
bath or something like that.
Yes, we prepare our family to
that everyone knows what to do and they're doing that, and we're documenting.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and the other options are half a day and all day. So they can
obviously all day is the best.
For us, all day is the best, but
for clients too, I think.
Yes, but half a day. Sorry?
Much common. Which one is the people
prefer? I think half a day is also popular because
half a day and 1 hour is most popular.
Yes, because it's often like people want to check if it's for them. Sometimes it starts with a 1 hour session, and after they decide to do more. It's rare to.
1 hour session is sometimes like introduction.
Yeah, it's like introduction.
Yeah, I think so too. For 2 hours, I think they're just first 2 hours just warm up. For me,
exactly.
They just want to check how this is gonna work because
what?
They want to see it's okay, especially men. Yeah, they want to verify if it's okay or it's
Men are
they're just talking like this, and then they will put me to.
Yes, fathers are just the worst because they.
It
depends, obviously, but they are from all family from. They are rarely they don't often decide about decision. It's often the wife who or the woman who decides that they are going to
pretty
have
much 99% is
and
unless the dad is the photographer. I think it has that. Unless the dad is the photographer himself.
Yes.
That's
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the woman, it's the wife, it's the mother. They just go along. They just follow the flow.
Yeah, and usually it's like really when fathers are very suspicious about whole process, and it's amazing how they forget about all the camera stuff an hour after we start shooting. So and they talk with usually they talk about video games with Łukasz. and they are the best buddies after 2 hours.
Have you guys been photographed, like your family? Have you had anyone photograph yourselves, document yourselves?
Document, not really. But I think we finally have to do this someday.
We have filmmakers who makes videos with us.
Yes, last year we did two videos with filmmakers.
They make this so beautiful, and it's quite in our style. That,
Yeah, and we have a short video about us and about our day in life session.
I think we post the link in the comments or something to this video. I know it's in Polish, but I think that it's really representative. Yeah, it shows how they are like a register of their one day last session. Yeah, something like this. Yeah. So they are working, and just the video about how they are.
Oh, that's
I think really interesting. Yeah, to see.
I mean, let me just ask you this: have you guys been photographed? I mean, you.
Yes, we wanted.
You mean if her family has been photographed? Documentary.
It was like
no, you haven't. Just
no.
Just curious.
No, we were marking something in March, but it didn't happen because of pandemic.
Romina was supposed to be with Nikki, because we were talking about you meeting Nikki Boone in Spain.
That's awesome.
Yeah, was she? Yeah, I hope that one day it will happen.
A czekaj, a jak dam tutaj?
The person asked because I was oh my gosh. The person asked, I've been photographed before twice, and it was very interesting to be on the other side. And for me, I realized that for me, a full day was not the best. Like half day was ideal for me. No, I only got that impression, and I could only see that after I was photographed, after I was on the other side. So now, after that, I tend to offer half day in live sessions more than full day in live sessions, just because it was a best fit for me. So.
Yes, sometimes it's. I think that sometimes the full day is for some people just too much.
But this depends how you work with family, because if you're making photos whole day, all the time,
It gets
It's-
tiring.
yes, you can.
If we shoot the whole day, we make stops for a meal, for example, for
talking.
talking.
So,
Yeah.
yes, because sometimes you need to wait for light or something like that. So.
Yes, with all the with each of our propositions, like the tempo of our shooting is lowering. Like 1 hour is shoot, and then half a day
Lessons, yeah.
is obviously less.
Whole day is.
It's like
relax.
we relax. We shoot more like. In addition to getting to know each other, and we want to slow it down to really end up with a photo book that is really, like spójne. Nie wiem jak powiedzieć, bo I don't know how to.
Do you guys just say like, do you guys just get there early in the morning? Do you guys get to the house early in the morning and leave at night, like after the kids go to bed, or do you stay over? Do you sleep over?
We have we had some session when we stayed at night and starting from morning, and when we start early morning, that one of us goes.
Yes, when we stayed overnight, it was for the whole weekend.
That's cool.
Yes, it's for
so we start on Friday, Saturday is whole day shooting, and Sunday is resting after a whole day.
And what do you do with the girls? Do you take them along?
They come with us.
They're coming with us, and we switch with
Yes.
Just maybe like your Mina does.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask something also, because I think that many of documentary photographers in Brazil are working with birth photography. How is it in Poland? If you do this, if not, if you observe it, what's about this?
This is very, like, I think
we are so jealous that in Brazil a lot of people make birth, because in Poland you have so much obstacles to overcome.
Yes, I think in Poland it's a growing trend, because we have now we have also a trend of home birth.
Yes.
It's really a lot of women decide to for a home birth, and with this birth photography is also growing, but I guess you can't really talk about a market of birth photography in Poland just yet, because there are few photographers who take birth photos, but it's like minority, and you can't make a living out of it. It's
yes, a lot of photographers make this on something like projects, not for money, and try to build portfolio.
For example, like I took my first home birth session in November, and it was I was working with my friend, and I asked her if she was interested in doing photos of her home birth, and she said yes, and I did this only to have this kind of photos in my portfolio. So it's also very difficult to price this kind of sessions, because
and why do you think Why do you think it is? Do you think it's too personal? Why do you think women are not? I mean, in Poland, they do not seek to photograph their birth.
For the first, firstly, it's home birth is not very common. Still, it's not very common. It's a growing trend, but it's not very common. And
if I can just one word, because in Poland there is no. It's quite an existing private private hospitals, you know.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Everyone going to the public one, so they don't pay anything. And when you born in your house, you need to pay. So that's the difference. In Brazil, most of people who makes the home birth, they would pay in the hospital too.
Yeah.
It's you just choose between home and hospital. In Poland, you choose between hospital and something that you need to pay.
Okay.
Yes, exactly, and it's also quite difficult to be qualified to home birth. So it's to a very difficult process, and I know that some hospitals agree to shoot during birth, but I heard that it's often for the first part of the birth and not for the second part where baby is coming. So the essential part of the birth is not going to be
even if hospital give you permission to go to birth and photographer go to hospital, you don't have guarantee that they change their mind and just
yes, for example, one midwife agree, but then another midwife is present on the during the birth, and she says that
say that you need to leave and no photos.
So it's
so interesting.
So it's I think that this is going to to develop in time. We have great photographers who do birth photography, but
it's quite.
It's even harder than normal documentary family photography.
It's usually in home birth.
Yes. In fact, the family births are a relatively new thing in Poland. Fathers were only, allowed to be present during the birth only recently. So.
Really?
Yes, this is.
Yes, father need to wait outside or something like that.
Yes, now family birth is more often, but again, fathers are often so apprehensive and stressed about the birth itself that the session is just so much too much for them. That the idea is
it's cultural, right? And
yes,
cultural.
yes. But for example, me, I learned to ask questions after our sessions to better read our clients for better communication. And I interviewed the father after the birth I took in November, and he told me that it was such a relief for him that I was present in the home because he was very stressed.
You need to remember that it's a situation that they called to.
Yes, they called
because
nurse, they called the midwife, and it was very. And the baby is coming, and the midwife wasn't present.
So.
Yes, and Gosia was explaining him how to catch a baby when it's coming, and he's like, "Oh my God!" and he told me that it was very good experience for him that I was present there. So I was very happy about that. And I think
post fact.
Yes, but but it's so it's such a transgressive experience that I think we need to work a lot with women and with fathers to.
I think a lot of women in Poland want to
have
photo session with them, but
yeah,
we still have
a lot of work to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So we're getting close to our end. So I just wanted to not ask you, but yeah, I wanted to see your photos. You placed 2 photos, right, in the last DFA round.
Yeah.
So if you could show us those 2 photos, we could end with that.
Które były na DFA ostatnio.
I should have asked for that before. Then you could have prepared yourself.
Jest to zdjęcie też drugie.
Paolo has it.
You can show it. Okay, because
as you can see, we have
a lot of
mess in our computer.
Organized. Yeah.
I show your photos. Just wait, please.
Yes. So you can see it now.
Still not.
Well, for that, Łukasz, I have a question for you. Do you think it's even more difficult for guys, for men photographer, to document home births or births in general in Poland? Because he said he was.
I never photographed birth.
So
but
it's just
at that first birth that Ola took photos, the Gosia want me to come. But Ola goes, and I'm so jealous about that. And
she still never.
She took it.
Yes, I admit it happened.
But I think it's much more difficult for men to do. I think it's really, really, really hard. It's quite hard to make family session for men than women. So.
Okay, go ahead, Pedro.
So the photo with the pinch is taken by Łukasz. So it's me and Hela.
It's not on for me, Carol. I não tô vendo.
Eu tô mostrando direto para eles. Tá passando entre as duas, Gil. Vai ficar trocando de uma para outra no YouTube, eles estão vendo.
Ah, mas eu não tô vendo. É normal aqui? Eu não tô vendo? Tá.
É porque eu tô fazendo essa transmissão só para eles.
Ah, tá bom. Tá bom, entendi.
You can follow Ola. The first one is made by.
Yes, it's the one that was awarded in Nothing is Better Than Real Life. It's taken by Łukasz and it's me and Hela. It's funny because it was described as breastfeeding as breastfeeding photo, and in fact it was like post breastfeeding photo because it was after Hela stopped breastfeeding, and she was remembering some things about breastfeeding, and Łukasz just caught her pinching me. And, yeah.
And this photo is quite controversial on Polish photo groups because a lot of women and men was so
disgusted
about this photo. And
yes, this is the subject that we can,
We can talk about this endlessly,
And the second half, people, women who remember.
Yes,
the same thing.
Yeah, I think that a lot of women can relate to this situation. And yes, and the other one is mine, and it was awarded in environmental portrait category.
We have so beautiful light in this apartment.
Yes, it was second in Wrocław.
So
yes.
really nice.
Yes, so yeah, we were very happy to be awarded.
Yeah, congratulations. They're beautiful. Well deserved. So guys, we have to go now. I cannot tell you how much this was so valuable, so good to see you, so good to get to know you, talk to you. You're so nice.
The
You're
same
so
about
nice.
you. We feel the same.
It's
Thank you
wonderful. We didn't see. Yeah, I didn't see time pass. Mina, thank you so much for joining us. It's such a pleasure, always.
No way. Thank you.
And you guys, you both, Łukasz and Ola, you're invited to follow us, to be in our group. We're so glad to follow you guys too, to follow you back, and follow your work. And we always want you guys together. We want you guys with us together. You're Mina too. It's so good. We can grow together. What was that?
We're hoping to visit you in Brazil at least.
Oh, do it anytime you want. Just let us know. You have plenty of places to go here and plenty of houses to stay at, I'm sure. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Have a lovely weekend. And hopefully we'll talk again soon. They want you guys to say goodbye in Polish. Yeah.
Cześć kochani, trzymajcie się, mam nadzieję, że się widzimy niedługo.
Tak.
Mamy nadzieję, że już niedługo.
Teraz możemy pogadać po polsku i się poczułam jak my, jak oni mówią po portugalsku. Też poszeleścimy troszeczkę. Czekaj, użyj jakiś szeleszczący.
Trzymajcie się.
Cześć.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye.
Gente, meninas, obrigada.
Obrigada.